Another day in the MLB here, and the work begins as it always does on the Splash Play channel. Today, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, your top projected pitcher. Jordan Alvarez, your top projected hitter. No games today. Over a 5-run total on today's slate. It's going to make it weird. But of course, we're going to do the same things we always do here. Compare my projections to Stokastic. See what the top plays are today at hitter and pitcher. We're going to take a look at the top stacks. We'll run a sim without my interference on Stokastic. We'll, of course, do some pick'em stuff, some home run model stuff. I'll do a hand build. But in this video, guys, you're going to know all of the industry's must plays along my Splash Plays for today, August 14th, 2026. Let's get into it here. Hope it was a good slate for you guys yesterday. I lost the rake, basically, so I feel like that's not that bad for MLB. But I had 5 top 100s, and really the biggest thing is, like, you get those numbers, and it doesn't mean you're profitable on the day. But ultimately, like we always talk about here, the portfolio is the thing. We'll talk a lot about individual plays here, but how your entire lineup set comes together. So it's the most important part of MLB, been a big part of my process. It's finally working really well this week. I had a lot of profitable weeks this week, days this week, rather. And I think that's what MLB really got to be the reminder that I give you guys up top if we are going in the home stretch here. And really for NFL, too, it's be the same thing. Structure, projections, top stack stuff, that matters. But when you are playing 20 maxes, 150 maxes, those combined, keeping that construction across the entire portfolio, that's the thing that keeps you from hemorrhaging money. It's the thing that keeps you having the upside every night. It's been the biggest findings I've had this summer. I've been grinding on MLB as hard as anybody out there. Appreciate all you guys watching live. Shout out to guy Antonio who's watching. Let's get some wins today indeed. Yes, Les, I hope so. Let's close out the week strong here. Of course, data will be on the site tomorrow and Sunday as well. Saturday and Sunday, I don't do videos, but I do update the site all weekend long with data if you are playing MLB this weekend. Let's get into it here. And again, ugly slate today. You can see the Vegas totals. Nobody above 5 fantasy points today, or 5 fantasy points, 5 implied runs. The Cubs, number 1 at 4.7. We have a game in Sutter Health today, which is also not above 5. So really tough scene for projections for hitters as a result. And I guess you would think, too, pitchers get more valuable on a slate where the implied run totals were not that high. But certainly, we're going to get some hitters no matter what. Pete Armstrong is one of them. Crazily priced for a game where it is a 4.7 run total for the Cubs. Pete Armstrong, though, 6,600, 10.5 projection for me. 10.1 for Stokastic. Makes 19% of the field's lineups right now, according to Stokastic data. 17% of my winning lineups across the 100,000 contest sims that I am running at splashplaypodcast.com. What is PCA doing here? He's got a matchup against a righty here. Right? Hold on. We had some stuff that got pulled in incorrectly from yesterday. Oh, you know what? I need to refresh. That's the issue. Hold on. Sorry, guys. All right, no, let's restart this video, guys. I didn't refresh the page. That's my bad. I fucking said Jordan Alvarez is the top projected guy up top, and I still was like, Pete Armstrong. I'm an idiot. That was yesterday's slate, which had not gotten refreshed on this laptop because I do all my work on on this computer, rather, because I do all my work on this laptop. That's my bad. It's been a tough day, guys. We were watching a dog, and it's one of our closest parent friends' dogs. Love them. The dog's a nice guy. It's a stupid way to talk about a dog. He's fucking terrible. And I think the lesson, I told my wife this too, which is an important lesson for you guys. If you have a dog and your friends are like, no, you don't need to watch the dog. Like, well, we'd rather put him in Petco. We'd rather board him. You don't need to watch that dog. And my wife, for some reason, is like, no, you're our friends. We love you guys so much. We would love to take care of him. I want to hang out with him. And it's like, no, this dog sucks. He pissed all over my gym mat, leaked through to the floor, ruined sleep because he fucking barks all night. Terrible scene. So, but lesson, I guess, don't watch any dogs, really, if you can. But also, don't do an MLB video when a dog ruins your sleep. That's the other thing. Anyway, now your actual top projected play. I threw everybody off the set with the Pete Armstrong thing. He's not even on the slate. We got Jordan Alvarez here. Number 1 here. Pete Armstrong actually playing at 2:20 p.m. East Coast time, so that's really wrong. But Jordan Alvarez, number 1, 10.1 fantasy points here. Same thing, though. Nobody above a 5 Vegas total. That is correct. But it's actually Texas, number 1, at 4.9 implied runs. Number 2 would be the A's at 4.7. That's right. I was like, the A's I thought were higher. Atlanta at 4.7 as well. So still, the main point here, nobody looks that good in the slate, even though, I did say the wrong thing up top. But Jordan Alvarez, 6,500, 10.1 fantasy points for me, 8.9 for Stokastic, 8% owned for both me and the field. Hate getting shit wrong, guys. My brain function is not the highest. I haven't smoked weed either. It's just me being exhausted, and I'm trying to get through it. But Alvarez here gets a lefty-righty matchup against George Kirby. Kirby's stuff is solid, but, The big thing for him is that you're in Seattle. That helps him and every other pitcher on the Mariners out more than anything. Finally, for them, thank God, they get away from Yankee Stadium. But they're in Houston here, so still a better park than they are getting in Yankee Stadium the last few games. Seattle is going to be the best situation for George Kirby normally, is what I was trying to say. But a 1.2 whip for him overall, 22.4% K rate, under a 3% home run rate. Yordan Alvarez bringing the video game numbers we always look for guys that are going to be our top projected hitters on the slate. A 290 ISO, 190 WRC plus. He looks good. Houston up top, the top four, really top seven's not bad. I mean, Dalton Varsho a little bit under league average in run creation, but you've got good pop, good guys. Alvarez, though, is going to be your flagship hitter as always for the Astros here. And Kirby is a little bit worse against lefties. I mean, he's still not bad, but a 1.3 whip, 3% home run rate, a little bit higher than the 2.7. The ISO gets up to 162 compared to righties, 135. And then park factors, it is still negative at Houston, -1%, but home runs go up 13%, particularly those Crawford boxes. So for Yordan Alvarez, it's always part of his game that grades out better. And for an opposing pitcher like George Kirby, going to make him look a little bit worse than when he's normally pitching in the safe confines of T-Mobile Park. Dogs that don't listen are the worst, or dogs that try to run off. Yeah, that was another thing, too, is he fucking smashed open our screen door while my friend is bringing in the food for the dog. And he's 125 pounds, so, like, I've only had dogs at 65 pounds max. So, yeah, it's not a good scene for a big dog who doesn't listen. He's okay on walks, though, but, yeah, just fucking so much piss. I cannot tell you, I've never seen more piss from a dog than he gave my gym mat last night. I was so fucking annoyed, man. I had to clean the top of it and underneath because it seeped all the way through. Not a good time. Ben Rice at number 2. Back to the baseball. We're getting some baseball in between me complaining about life. Ben Rice, 10 fantasy points here. 8.3 for Stokastic. Do they have anybody above 10 today, actually? Or they've got Bobby Witt above 10. They fucking love Bobby Witt. Bobby Witt kept me from first place the other night. I think Tolbert outscored him when I had some good lineups up top. Ben Rice, 10 fantasy points for me. 8.3 for Stokastic. 6%, actually 7% for the field. I've got him in 8. For Ben Rice here, you get a lefty-righty matchup going against Shane Bieber. And Bieber has shown some real signs of life lately, but the last season and a half for him has been incredibly bad. 220, 195. ISO to both sides of the plate. The righty number being a little bit higher. To lefties, though, giving up a 4.2% home run rate. To righties, a 5.3% home run rate. Ben Rice is a lefty, maybe not getting the best matchup. Shane Bieber's been at a 1.3 whip against lefties, as opposed to a 1.7 whip against righties. But look, I mean, Ben Rice, full video game number power here, 280 ISO, 153 WRC plus. Shane Bieber has given up pretty big power numbers of last season and change. So I think Ben Rice looks decent here. But you guys know the deal if you watch these videos with any frequency. I am always going to default to the longer-term sample size, and you'll want to say, hey, this guy is going to get worse again because he's been bad for a period of time that's long enough. For Bieber, having a couple decent turnaround starts here, it could be a sign of life. He is a guy that a couple of years ago was like a lights-out strikeout guy, and more than that. But I think for, how Bieber looks over the last season and change, it's not been that good. So, and a lot of pitchers, when they have great strikeout stuff when they're younger, they get older, they're still attacking the zone. Max Scherzer is the best example of this. Still attack the zone, and they just get battered and abused, like in terms of the power they're giving up. So for Bieber, maybe it gets better for him. Actually, real fast, check a swing and strike rate. It's always a decent tell. Like we talked about yesterday with Cavalli, where he had a really high swing and strike rate, but the whip's not awesome. The strikeout rate itself's not awesome. When you miss bats pretty well, you can have that big upside. 32% chase rate, though, 10% swinging strike rate. Not sure I'm seeing that with Bieber, and I would kind of expect him to come back down to earth. But I don't know. For Ben Rice here, a lefty-righty matchup for him, hitting in the 2-hole, always a guy I'm willing to get to. We get those kind of splits. Ownership, though, is not really there. It was actually not an Australian Shepherd. He is a boxer mix, I believe, but just a big, fat fucking shonker, man. Just a big, cute dog, but big old boy. CJ Abrams at number 3, 9.4. Fantasy Sports me, 9.6 for Stokastic. So I'm a little bit behind them. 8% for the field. I've got him at 10, though, for Abrams at shortstop. Seemingly, maybe Bobby Witt coming up higher for them in terms of that metric. Let's look at Abrams, though. A leadoff spot. Again, without James Wood on this team, does seem like generally you're expecting Abrams to pull more of the weight when it comes to the 4.2 implied runs. Going against Robert Stock, whose sample size is not the biggest. Only 37 batters faced the last season and change, but a 3 whip to lefties with a 3.1% home run rate, 21.5% K rate, 230 ISO. Again, not the biggest sample size, only 40 batters faced, basically. Overall, 37 of which are lefties. Why is this number off? This should equal not 41. That's weird. But anyway, for Robert Stock here, really the biggest thing is going to be that he is a guy where the stuff has not looked good overall. And then for Washington, frankly, they've been better hitters overall than you would think, especially when you get a lefty-righty matchup. Abrams, you can see with that 255 ISO, 146 WRC plus. Abimelech Ortiz, less of a sample size for sure, but a 464 ISO, 220 WRC plus. Dalen Lyle, solid. The rest of these guys, not so good. Jose Tena fucked me yesterday by not playing because I did not swap in time. I'll do in the best ball stream. But for CJ Abrams, I really think the key thing is that he is at shortstop. He does have that big power, hitting the leadoff spot. You know, relative to this slate, 4.2 runs is not that bad. So that's Abrams coming up. Price tags, though, are just brutal, man. 6K for all these guys is like so much. I feel like to me, like the only guys who be above 6K are like Ohtani and Alvarez and maybe guys in Coors or Sutter Health. And you just got a bunch of guys here. Tyler Soderstrom, $5,500 salary, 9.4 fantasy points for me, 8.7 for Stokastic. Gets him an 8% of the field's lineups, 10% of mine. Soderstrom here, the biggest thing is that you are going back to Sutter Health. So you have 11% positive park factors, 20% home run boost. This version of the A's, though, is not the best. You have still 5 guys over 100 WRC plus. Jeff McNeil, not that far off. Going against Kumar Rocker, who is really bad against lefties, 205 ISO compared to a 150 against righties, a 1.7 whip against lefties, opposed to a 1.1 whip against righties. And Soderstrom is a lefty. We're not getting the Nick Kurtz days anymore, unfortunately, where we have like legit crazy good lefty hitting on the A's. But Soderstrom, the 222 ISO, 134 WRC plus in Sutter Health. The weather's not awesome, 76-degree weather, wind blowing in at 11 miles per hour, but it's still, you know, the smallest park in baseball, basically. So I think for the A's here, and for Soderstrom in particular, do you like the lefty-righty matchup for him? Kumar Rocker, just egregiously bad against lefties. He was also just really bad overall last start, so maybe due for a bounce back. Soderstrom looks good. And Matt Olson, rounding out the top 5 here, getting a weird top 5, not our usual top 5 kind of hitters. Matt Olson, 9.3 for me, 8.3 for Stokastic. Makes 9% of my lineups in the fields at 7. For Matt Olson here, you once again get a lefty-righty matchup against a pitcher who is much worse against lefties, giving up a 3.5% home run rate and a 172 ISO to lefties, as opposed to 2.1% and 150 against righties. And Matt Olson brings video game numbers, 270 ISO, 146 WRC plus against Brandon Pfaadt here. Pfaadt himself, missing bats, chase rate at 33% and an okay rate, getting barreled pretty hard when you do make contact, 41% hard hit rate. I think for Matt Olson, I mean, it all grades out pretty well here. And really the key thing is that because we just have this flat slate, because we don't really have your Ohtani class looking particularly good here. I've got Ohtani down at 9 fantasy points flat. Stokastic has him just under 10. To me, it's a day where we're going to get some different guys up top, and that's the way you play it. The field, though, will always go, and really Stokastic will always go, give me Bobby Witt, give me Shohei Ohtani, maybe give me Caminero with how he's played lately. I think today is a day where you want to get some different pay-up options. Your top FanDuel hitters, Jordan Alvarez at number 1 for me again, a 19% sim win rate, fields at 12 across 100,000 contest sims that I am running at splashplaypodcast.com. Ben Rice, 13% for me, fields at 9. Tyler Soderstrom, 17% for me, fields at 12. Olsen coming up a little bit higher on FanDuel with 13%, fields at 9. And Luis Garcia coming up more on FanDuel. The price tag's much cheaper at 3,100. Makes 15% of my winning lineups, fields at 7.5. Let's go to our top pitchers, guys. Before we do, though, one quick ask. Please make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. It goes a long way for any content you join YouTube, but especially me, just one guy doing the work as best I can every day on stream here every day. It really means a lot. So please hit the like button. Please subscribe. Leave a comment. The channel's been getting slaughtered lately by the YouTube algorithm. Like my click-through rate is like incredibly high. It's giving me no impressions. I don't really know why, but I'm sticking the course for right now. We'll get better with NBA, I know, coming up. But please hit the like button. Please subscribe, and I'll keep doing the work here throughout the rest of August. Also, shout out to our presenting sponsor, Snap Stats. Not sure if we're going to be rolling with them moving forward, but I'm trying my best to keep them happy. So check them out, Snap Stats. I think they are a great company no matter what's going on. And really, if you are going to sign up, I encourage you guys to check it out today, because really, today's the last day of our first month of the deal, and we'll see what happens moving forward. I'd love to keep working with them, but might change the way that we're doing a little bit moving forward. But for today, they're a presenting sponsor. They really have been a good presenting sponsor of the channel. And I always mention on here, for a lot of you guys that are out there, like the biggest change to my play in DFS and the biggest effort that I made to myself in 2026 was using AI more intelligently, getting smarter about it. Snap Stats, I mean, I don't know if I want to give away their entire company, but it's like many other AI companies, taps of the other AI models, has their own stuff as a baseline to build off of there for what they're training it off of. And as a result, you get kind of the best of all the worlds at cheaper than you're going to get for even your cheapest Chat GPT or Claude package. So check it out for yourself over at Snap Stats. First AI company dedicated to sports betting and fantasy. $10 for your first month. The promo code SPLASHPLAY at trysnap.ai. That's TRYSNAPP.ai. Check them out. Again, they've been a good presenting sponsor here. Made me some money for August, if nothing else. So do want you guys to check them out if you can. And please do that. And yes, take another lap, YouTube algorithm. Yes, for the love of God. Is Turang in today? I don't think so. He's got a knee problem they're checking out. All right, pitchers here for today. Yoshinobu Yamamoto at number 1. So kind of a weird slate today where it seems like Yamamoto is my top projected guy by a decent margin, by 3.5 fantasy points. And despite the fact he's only $300 more than Gavin Williams, I'm getting more Gavin Williams right now. In terms of my lineup exposures, that could change as we get closer to lock. Normally, the 55% exposure pitcher in my portfolio is going to be your top projected guy. But sometimes this is a guy the field's getting the most, / a guy that works better with all the stacks across the board. So I think Yamamoto and Sale might be kind of an awkward price tag to get to today as your top 2 pitchers. That said, the field's there, 28%. I have Yamamoto having a 35% sim win rate today, highest of all the pitchers. That's why he's on your thumbnail today, right over my shoulder. Let's look at Yamamoto today. Yamamoto getting 3.3 implied runs against him, as you can see. For Travis, who asked in the chat, Turang not expected in the lineup. But Yamamoto's been great in terms of a 0.9 whip over the last season and change. I guess really 2 seasons at this point. 26% K rate is not upper echelon stuff, but the low whip with that K rate, avoiding power well, the 2.5% home run rate, 140 ISO to righties, really low, 0.09 ISO to lefties. That's good stuff for Yamamoto. You're getting a worse version of the Milwaukee lineup with no Turang, but still pretty good. 6 guys over 100 WRC plus. Aggregate strikeout rate of 22.2% is under league average. Only 3 guys that strike it above league average. But the Vegas total at 3.3 implied runs, I believe, is going to be your lowest on today's slate. Let me just double check that real fast here. Yep, that is the lowest on today's slate. So Yamamoto, I mean, look, I think the field's going to be under him by a little bit. It wouldn't shock me if these ownership numbers are wrong. I think the field sometimes settles on a guy more than Stokastic, or really any ownership projection would give you, where like it just kind of flattens out because these guys look like similar plays with similar ratings of outcomes. But it wouldn't shock me if the field congregates more on potentially Gavin Williams, the cheapest option. But it could be Yamamoto. I guess it could be Chris Sale. I don't think that's the most likely. But I think for Yamamoto here, he looks solid. Again, makes 35% of my winning lineups, which is more than the field's 28% ownership. So I think he's probably going to make like a third of my lineups no matter what, with an outside chance of making more than half. Good play today. Good matchup. Best Vegas total. All stuff we look for in our top projected pitcher. Chris Sale, number 2, 10.7 salary for him, 22.1 fantasy points in my data, 18.6 for Stokastic. Of course, my pitcher projections are higher deliberately because they should carry with you when you run my projections on other sites. I like Stokastic, like SaberSim, like wherever else you guys are using my data. DFS Army, of course. But for Chris Sale here, matchup-wise, you get him going against Arizona with 3.4 implied runs. Arizona, not a ton of strikeouts as well, 3 above league average here. But we do have a couple guys. I mean, really solid rotation here, solid batting lineup rather, against Chris Sale as a lefty. I mean, you have 7 out of these guys above a 100 WRC plus. Tawa and Locklear way behind here. I mean, these guys, Locklear's got some pop, really nothing special. Carroll's rock solid even against the lefty, better against the righty, obviously. Ketel Marte's crazy good against a lefty. 280 ISO to 146 WRC plus is very high. So you've got some danger against him. Sale, though, I mean, kind of like Yamamoto, low whip at 1.04, home run rate under 2. No, really low isolated power to both sides of the plate, 115 ISO to lefties, 0.095 ISO to righties. I mean, Chris Sale looks good, too. I think it's not an easy matchup on paper for Yamamoto or Sale, but the Vegas totals, indicate them getting through pretty clean, I would think, with under 3.5 implied runs for both. Shout out to the jewels here. I still also barely know what jewels are, but they do convert to money, so I appreciate that a bunch. The one thing that sucks is on StreamYard, I can't see what the actual things are, so I don't know what you guys are sending me, and apparently the graphics are fun. But thank you for the other jewels here as well. I hope you guys are enjoying them. Penny a jewel? I think it was 1,000 cents, like 1/1000th of a cent, I think is each jewel. I don't know. That's what somebody said in the chat, so I take that as a gospel, as I always do, as you guys know at the chat. Gavin Williams, 32% owned. I've got 27. He's the guy who's coming up the most for the field. He's also the guy I'm currently getting in more than half my lineups across my entire set that I ran before the show. Gavin Williams, obviously crazy strikeout upside lately. Today you're going against San Diego, who only has 1 guy that strikes out above league average against a righty pitcher. Overall, 20% aggregate K rate, not the ideal spot. Gavin Williams, too, I got to say, we talked about it yesterday with Cavalli as being a reason why there could be some sort of push-pull here. I'm pretty sure it was Cavalli we talked about. In terms of the strikeout stuff, though, Ashcraft, too. If you have a high chase rate, basically, like one that's pushing towards 40, you expect there to be, like, massive upside on strikeouts, but also, like, pretty big downside if you're a guy that gives up a lot of walks and hits, high batting average, high power, whatever. So we've seen that with some shitty pitchers lately where the swing strike rate carrying you through on the positive variance side. For Gavin Williams here, this is a good one. It's not a lights out strikeout rate or chase rate rather. For his strikeout rate, though, 29.4%, it is very good. He's had a lot of big outlier games. I mean, I forget what the exact stat is, but a bunch of 10-plus strikeout games lately. For Gavin Williams, I think that's it. I do feel like it's a tough matchup to keep, that momentum going. And I do think underlying, in terms of just his numbers, I'm not seeing like the super elite, swing strike rate, chase rate stuff where he's just missing bats so much that like you expect that your strikeout rate to continue forever. But ultimately, a guy with a 29.4% K rate, that's one of your best in the slate, pretty much right behind Chris Sale. So I think for Gavin Williams, I'll get there. I really do worry, like if you're talking about, him being 32, 33% projected ownership, he might get to 50% plus. If I'm playing 50% plus, I'm not going to feel awesome about that. It's basically how I feel about Gavin Williams. Garrett Cole, 8% owned by the field. I've got him at 15. Projection of 18.4 for me. Stokastic 15.1. Garrett Cole's look good, man. Every time I look at his numbers, they keep getting better each time he starts. Definitely still has some power struggles, especially against lefties. Still don't think he's getting anywhere near he needs to be in terms of that chase rate. Low 30% chase rate. To me, that's just not a guy that's going to hold up with a high strikeout rate and have the big upside forever. But a 26.4% K rate, 1.1 whip. He has looked good. Again, probably as good as he's looked since that initial Gorilla Glue ban a couple years ago that fucked up everybody's spin on their balls when they're a pitcher. Spin on their balls. It sounds weird when you say it like that. For Garrett Cole, though, you are going against a lineup with 6 guys over 100 WRC plus. Brett Bateman's been useless so far in a small sample size, but he'll be hitting the 2-hole. Strikeouts, only 17% K rate, not very good. Really, all these top projected pitchers, none of them have a great matchup. Like, I think it's one of those days where we got people curious about cheap pitchers here for the shitty pitchers. Our guy Razor Ramon. If you guys have matchups today where you have, shitty pitchers, you like the matchup a lot of guys that strike out. In the top pitchers today, you can see it here. There's not a lot of matchups where guys strike out plentifully. But Garrett Cole at number 4 here, $9,700 salary, a little bit cheaper than Yamamoto Sale, Gavin Williams tier. And then Peter Lambert, we got Spider Tack. That's it. I mean, it was Gorilla Glue too, wasn't it? But it's both. Yeah, Spider Tack. They were spinning the shit out of the ball back in the day. And Garrett Cole fell off the cliff. Then he got hurt too. And then now he's back and looking not like the best version of himself, but he looks kind of like the vet version of a guy who used to be good. I think he's playing well, but definitely some underlying power stuff, not missing bat stuff that I'd worry about. Peter Lambert making the top 5 here, which is not a very often thing. Barely ahead of Landon Roop. Michael King not that far off. Kirby not that far off. I mean, a really flat tier for me with Peter Lambert here. I would say this top 4 is like pretty clear cut. Top 3, well ahead of Cole. Cole well ahead of Lambert. That's how I view it. But Peter Lambert, 6% owned by the field. I've got him at 10. Why is Peter Lambert coming up is a great question. You're going to get a Seattle team getting park shifted to a slightly better park, but still not one that's good with negative 1% park factors in Houston. You do have 8 hitters over 100 WRC plus against Peter Lambert. And Lambert giving up decent power to righties, 160 ISO, 1.2 whip is not that bad. 4% home run rate's above league average. Lefties is a lot better, 1.08 whip, rounded up 2% home run rate, 0.08 ISO. Yeah, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 lefties here, plus a switch hitter. I know Lambert's had some good box score results. Look, I'm not stoked to be here. He's getting guys to chase at a decent clip, especially for a guy with a barely above league average strikeout rate, so you can see that upside volatility. But against Seattle, there's not on paper a lot of strikeouts here. Only 3 guys that strike at above league average and an aggregate K rate of 20. So again, he's another guy to me. I just don't think it's an easy matchup. And that's basically it. But Lambert's coming in top 5. Is he that much better than Roop, King? Probably not. Roop, I think, has got the best matchup on the board out of these top 6 at least. FanDuel, your top pitchers. Yamamoto makes about a quarter of the field's lineups and mine. Chris Sale makes 20% for me in the field. Gavin Williams, less for me on FanDuel. Always think the chalk pitcher on FanDuel is a bit overowned. Gavin Williams be that guy today at 25.9%. I'm getting 16. Garrett Cole, 10% sim win rate for me. Fields at 6. Lambert coming in lower at 5. Your entire tier of really all the non-top pitchers on FanDuel, all under a 5% win rate for me. So FanDuel, I'd be probably focusing mostly on the top 4. And you mix in your lottery tickets around that. Brutal stuff, though. All right, that's your pitching slate for now, guys. Let's go to top stacks. Before we do, though, one more ask. If you can, please make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Again, it really matters a lot for anything you'd watch on YouTube, especially when the YouTube algorithm is being a dick to you. Like, I need you guys to be louder than ever about, hey, this content matters. And I really feel like this year for MLB, I think I've done better work than anybody in the space, to be real about it. Like, I've showed you guys my work. I've improved my own play. I've improved the data on the site, even though it's been running. Projections have been good all year. But really, I work really hard at this. I think it's the key thing I would say if you're watching this video, you're like, I don't know if I should click this button. I don't know if I should move my finger the 1 inch right now to do it. So please hit the like button. Please subscribe. And my promise to you guys is I'll keep doing the work as hard as I can every day, no matter what sponsors are here, no matter what's going on. I keep shit up and doing the work for you guys and myself. I will continue to do that as long as you guys watch, hit the like button, and subscribe. Check out Stokastic too. All their data, their tools, 15% off with the promo code SPLASH. That's any package, weekly, monthly, yearly. Get it all for yourself right now. What I recommend, getting their data, getting their tools, pairing it with my projections. It's a one-click CSV export from my site to use that stuff on Stokastic. But if nothing else, use their things. It's idiot-proof, great DFS lineups. Just cap your exposure. We'll talk about more of that when we get to the Stokastic sim portion of the video. That's my recommendation, though. Really the best product in the biz if you want to get in, get good stuff, and then kind of tweak your way around it. And of course, the big one, guys, my site, splashplaypodcast.com/join. Go there right now. Really, the biggest thing here is that for you guys out there, if you want to see the show go on forever, the best way to support what I'm doing is to sign up on that site and hold on to your membership. Right now, it's under $40 a month for VIP, under $20 a month for the Squirt Squad tier. The VIP package is going up, I think, $15 next week. Squirt Squad package going up $5 next week. I'm telling you guys that now. So if you get in, that's it. You're on that same price tag forever. I'm not going to raise prices on current members. That's my promise to you as a show of faith for you guys supporting the show for so long, as many of you guys have when I first launched the site back in February. For you guys that are out there right now, lock in your price, get in there. It's all one package for MLB, NBA, and NFL. If you're trying to get in best ball drafts for NFL, my best ball champion tool, I think, is the most idiot-proof, great best ball product out there. Sidekick's great for leg up. They charge you a shitload more than I do. So check it out. Promo code, no promo code again. I have no promo codes going right now, but splashplaypodcast.com/join. Go there right now. And please do support the show. And shouts to all the kind chats. I appreciate this. Again, these are real people here. Mike having his best year so far. Thanks for saying that. Thanks for good job by you. Shout out Jake here. Been killing it, bro. I've improved since inception. Info straightforward. You really been legit, brother. Thank you. I appreciate that. And that's really what I'm hoping for. Is you guys that watch every day, you know, I try hard at this, and for MLB, it's always been my weakest sport. I feel like I've had good content takes, but my results did not match NBA, NFL, where I've had these massive wins. For MLB, this has been my best MLB season. In particular, this last week is making up for some of the shitty testing process out. But all I'm doing is putting it towards making my products on the site as good as I can for you guys, making this content on stream as helpful as I can for you guys. So if there's anything I can do to make it better, let me know in the comments. But I appreciate that. And shout out Razor Ramon too. You've won a couple mini maxes. I know that. So really glad to hear the guys in the community who I know have paid attention are getting something out of it. And you will too if you watch every day. That is my promise to you. Angels, 11% ROI, 3.4 points of leverage for them. So they are under-owned a little bit based on my data here. Everybody else on the slate in terms of 5-man stacks seem appropriately owned or over-owned. It doesn't mean that they can't have a positive ROI, and that's the biggest thing about a top stacks tool, whether it's mine or anybody else's. You don't want to follow it like gospel. You don't want to make all your lineups Angel stuff because they're coming up as a positive ROI because they're not crazily owned. But that said, pairing Sale and Yamamoto, you're getting the top pitchers on the slate with Lowe, Trout, Ballesteros, Grissom, and Neto. NBA playoffs. I mean, NBA is, I think, always going to be my best, but MLB now, like, the product is the best for MLB. Like, the NBA one we got through because my projections were really tight. For MLB, this is, like, the best product, I think, in the industry right now. I know it sounds like I'm sucking my own dick, but, like, everything else in the industry has stayed static. And when I went through my research stuff, like, I could tell you guys that, like, sim ROI doesn't correlate to fucking anything across the industry. And that was a really important learning lesson for me. Sorry, Angels here. All right. Seth Lugo's the matchup for the Angels today. We got Seth Lugo really bad against lefties, 1.5 whip, 3.4% on run rate, though he does give up that same home run number to righties as well. 190 ISO to lefties allowed, 170 ISO to righties. Thanks, Berga. You can go watch anything else. Why would you say that? You know I'm just going to ban you, right? Your opinion doesn't fucking matter. What was I even making jokes? Also, don't watch my show. I'm now not going to give up takes until Burgo leaves. That's why, like, if you don't like me, just don't watch the show. Please, I beg you not to watch me if you don't want to do it. But yeah, Seth Lugo here. Looking bad against lefties. Just a league average guy against righties. 1.15 whip, 3.4% on run rate. It's worse than average. But for the Angels here, look, we know they're a volatile team. You have 4 guys that strike it above league average. Not as good as it usually is when you're facing the Angels. Top 4 looking respectable. The rest of the lineup looking not that bad besides Tyler Heineman at the bottom. I think Lugo stinks. I mean, that's really the biggest thing here. Really terrible chase rate. I mean, we've talked this entire time about, guys having chase rates 33% plus. If you get to 40, even better. It doesn't matter if the guy doesn't get strikeouts, just knowing that chase rate is there means that he's getting guys to come out of the zone enough that he can have a big strikeout day. For Lugo, it's the exact opposite. He's not getting guys to chase at all. So maybe he gets there. The Angels are bad enough that Lugo can have maybe a one functional day here. But I feel like every time Lugo comes up, you're getting some sort of signal to stack against him. And that's the case again today. Yankees here, 9.2% ROI. Pairing Sale and Cole with Chisholm, Garcia, McMahon, Jones, and Grisham in a smaller sample size here. Let's go over to the Yankees and see what they look like. Somebody needs to know how to conduct themselves. I think it's just that people think that I have to care about their opinion. In reality, the reason that I've had so much success in this space is I care about nobody's opinion. I just do my thing. I do it as best I can. And the guys who are here every day, yeah, I care about feedback from them. But guys just come in and say something shitty. It's I couldn't care less. You have no credibility to me, so it doesn't matter. That's the reality of it, is having the confidence in yourself and what you're doing is the whole thing. But the Yankees going against Bieber, really the key thing here. We talked about Ben Rice having the good matchup. Trent Grisham as well has broken slates many times as a lefty against a righty. 224 ISO for him, 122 WRC plus against a righty pitcher. Really the key thing is Bieber has had 354 batters faced over the last season and change. Really bad 1.5 whip, really bad 5% home run rate, really not good 18.4% K rate. The chase rate at 32%. It's close to league average, but it's not anything special. And he's getting barreled like crazy, hard hit like crazy, hard contacted a good amount. So that's why the Yankees are coming up here. You have a bunch of guys that can hit well. Jazz Chisholm talking to the media about how he's not having good days. He hits well against righties. Would be very convenient if he had a good day today. And then it was I knew I'd get back. That's the kind of shit that happens in baseball. So the Yankees, team that can hit righties well. Grisham, Rice, Garcia, Chisholm, clearly the best guys here. Lombard getting knocked down the order as his sample size grows, and he's not been as good of a hitter. It's definitely a little bit of a concern for playing him, but he looks okay as well in a small sample size. I think the Yankees are a team. Always have pop. Solid. I can live with it. And then Houston here with their 4.3 run total with Freeland and Yamamoto in a small sample size paired with Walker, Varsho, Paredes, Pena, and Alvarez. Like I talked about again, for Alvarez here, he's really the one driving this Houston stack in this situation. Not Andrew Alvarez. We want Jordan. George Kirby getting park shifted, even though it's not a great hitting park in Houston. It's still a downgrade for him. And then Alvarez, again, grades out incredibly well at that 190 ISO, but the top four all looks good. Altuve being the worst, the 100 ISO and a 170, a 170 ISO and a 100 WRC plus. But Walker above league average run creation, Trammell above league average run creation. These guys all look solid. So for Houston here, it's not a great run total. And Kirby, I think, is a solid pitcher. But really, it's the park shift. I mean, at this point, I feel like the biggest theme of MLB this year, and it's something we talk about every time, but the outliers keep happening when it's here's Seattle who plays in their park where it's nice and safe and the pitchers are good. And they go to the Yankees stadium and the guys who have underlying weakness get bombed. Logan Gilbert didn't get bombed because he's probably the best of them. But that's sort of the way it goes. I think the park shift stuff seems noteworthy in data today when we just don't have great Vegas totals. Four-man stacks, Angels 1, Yankees 2, Houston 3. You can see the individual combos if you pause your screen on YouTube. I'm not going to read them all. Yankees, Houston, and Angels would be the three-man stack order here. I feel like I should maybe switch five-man stacks to the left. Go three-man here. Anyway, that's how it looks. FanDuel, your top stacks. Yankees, Angels, KC coming up more here. For the Yankees, you're pairing Roop with Wells, Garcia, Rice, and Grisham in a four-man. Angels pairing Yamamoto in a small sample size with Lowe, Ballesteros, Shanuel, and Grisham for the best ROI combo of this Angels four-man. And KC, we haven't really looked at all, but let's see how that looks. Pairing Alvarez with the KC stack. I mean, I love targeting Grayson Rodriguez, who's been dog shit. And I pointed this out a while ago when the industry is pushing you on Grayson Rodriguez a little bit too much. But he's been bad. 1.6 whip, 3.5% home run rate, both well over league average. I mean, the home run rate, not well, but above league average enough. 20% K rate, nothing special. Not getting guys to chase. Swing strike rate's fine. But the high isolated power, 240 to righties, 220 to lefties. He's also pitching in Angel Stadium, which is generally a negative 2% park factor boost. So I think for Grayson Rodriguez, he stinks enough. I could see going to KC. They are not anything special here. At this point, the lineup only has four guys hit over a 100 WRC plus. And I really do think every day Stokastic overrates Bobby Witt because he's a good shortstop. Stolen base rate's not awful. 5.5% stolen base rate's pretty good. So that's why. But I don't know, man. I think going against Grayson Rodriguez, very happy to do it always. Just feel like I've not been impressed by him once this year. And I know he's a former top prospect, but there have been no signs of life there. And that's how our top stacks look right now, guys. Going to take you through the overall Slates here, highest win rate players on DraftKings be Yamamoto, Sale, Gavin Williams just out of Landon Roop. But really a big tier break here. Like I mentioned, Yamamoto, a 35% sim win rate across my 100,000 fully contest size sims at splashplaypodcast.com. Chris Sale at 28% for me. Gavin Williams, 27%. All these guys going to be highly owned. And Gavin Williams is the one where like he might make a lot of my lineups today and the fields. FanDuel, your highest win rate players, Yamamoto 1. Caminero coming up, which surprised me a little bit on FanDuel. Chris Sale, Jordan Alvarez here. That's your top 4. Soderstrom not that far behind. But your guys really hovering around 20 or better. Yamamoto, Caminero, Sale, Jordan Alvarez. And that's how that looks. Home run model here. Very important one for you guys that like to place some easy bets. If I recommend anything here, somebody's telling me they hit on Kyle Schwarber, got some good line on it yesterday. Really the key thing here, look through your top 5 home run probabilities, maybe even top 10. If you find ones that are plus money, pair a couple together, play them individually if you want. Really, a lot of people have been hitting on that all year with my home run model. I can't recommend it enough based on what I've heard from people. But Munetaka Murakami at number 1 here, 35% probability with 3 stars of confidence based on his and Jackson Joby's sample size. Steven Matz, 34% home run probability with 4 stars of confidence. Griffin Conine, 31% with 4 stars of confidence. Ben Rice, 30% home run probability with 3 stars of confidence. And Tyler O'Neill, 29% home run probability with 3 stars of confidence as well. Melek Ortiz looking really good for a small sample size guy as well. Just want to highlight that because sometimes these guys with like no sample size pop up in the home run model and then being really important power players. We've seen the guys on Pittsburgh do that this year in particular, Valdez. Anyway, just highlighting it there with Ortiz coming up as number 6. Now you've seen my data in its many applications, guys. We have one more stop to use it intelligently, and that's the world of pick'ems, of course, with our friends over at Splash Sports. So go over there right now to Splash Sports. Use the promo code SPLASHPLAY over there. It's a 50% deposit bonus, 100% quick picks boost. Even though they're known for stuff like their Survivor tournament, which is coming up very soon, and it's $21 million of first place. Really can't encourage you guys enough. Throw in one entry there. That is the most pure lottery ticket. But if you won fucking $21 million playing NFL Survivor, you should tell people about it forever. But cool stuff like that. The biggest thing, though, is that they have peer-to-peer pick'ems, and that's the key thing for you guys out there. The quick picks format going to carry you a lot further than playing against the house and other pick'em sites out there. And you also have the benefit of using my quick picks EV tool, which I'll show you guys the full load process here. It's a bookmark. You just go down into the description. There's a link there. I pointed out very clearly in the YouTube description. Drag the bookmark up to your bookmarks bar. You click that button and you get this tool on your screen for free, the Quick Picks EV tool, which scans against my projections in real time for every game on the slate. You can see on here on Splash Sports, they give you the group here of all players. Matt Olson, Suzuki looking very good in my more for hits, runs, and RBIs. Alec Bregman looking solid here. He went nuts yesterday, so obviously can't go wrong today. Carson Kelly, Alec Burleson, good numbers on these guys. You can scroll down further on the endless scroll, scan it again, add a few more in. We got Owen Casey looking good with a 39% ROI and his hit, run, and RBI line. Ben Rice looking good with 36% on his. This is what the process looks like. And this is me in Pennsylvania, where I do not have as many markets as you guys in other states out there. Pennsylvania only gets combo markets like hits, runs, and RBIs. I think maybe 1 or 2 others. But basically not a lot to grade against. For you guys in other states, you'll get individual markets, strikeout markets, stuff like that, where you'll see the advantage based on my most recent run of projections at splashplaypodcast.com. This is a free tool, so check it out for yourself over at Splash Sports. I made it free so you guys can use it. I prefer you use my promo code before you do, but no matter what, just use it. I want you guys to get value out of it. Beat up on the other shitty players on Splash Sports. Quick picks / pick'ems in general. Inherently minus EV because of the fact that it's hard to get a 5-legger or a 6-legger right. When you're competing peer to peer, it's easier to do that. You might only have to win 5 legs. Might only have to win 4. That's where things get more plus EV for you in an inherently minus EV format. So check it out for yourself over at Splash Sports. 50% deposit bonus, 100% quick picks boost. Play over there. If you're going to play for fun with pick'ems, play it in a way where you're playing peer-to-peer, much like we do with DFS. That's the goal. Take advantage of people that are not playing as smart as you. All right, guys, let's go to Stokastic next. Let's build up their sim here. So you saw my data in all its various ways. Now we'll see it without my interference here in their stuff. But while this runs, guys, please make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Goes a long way for any content you enjoy on YouTube, but especially me, just one guy doing his best I can here every day. And I am a one-man shop. Everything you see here from the thumbnails down to the very site itself. Obviously, me talking here, it would be weird. I guess somebody could have their hand up my ass right now and they'd be talking for me, but that would be a very difficult show to produce. But I do all the stuff here. So please hit the like button, please subscribe, and I'll keep doing the work as best I can for you guys every day, whether you are watching for free, and especially if you're a paying member on the site. Check out Stokastic as their sim runs. Big difference between seeing me run it here at 12:40 p.m. on the East Coast, you getting your hands on it, tweaking inputs. I talked about earlier about the sim ROI thing, and it's not a fault to Stokastic. It's more of a generalized thing. But in reality, the rank order of sim ROI, I read it across the industry. We all approach it that way. But in reality, across Stokastic, across SaberSim, It doesn't directly correlate to your results, which you shouldn't be surprised by. But that's why, using the sim yourself, tweaking your overall exposures. I can't beat this in your guys out enough. Overall exposures matter so much. The difference for me, hemorrhaging $200 on a slate versus winning 1,000 the other day, is just being smart about exposure. So keep that in mind. The inputs are the inputs, but how you manage those inputs, kind of the whole thing on Stokastic. And of course, guys, my site, splashplaypodcast.com. Go there right now. Lock in your price for NFL season. You guys know the deal. Again, price tag's going up pretty meaningfully at the end of next week, it looks like. So get in now. Lock in your price for NFL season. One package for MLB, NBA, NFL. And when you're on, if you stay a member, you stay on your price tag forever. So go to splashplaypodcast.com/join. Do it right now and support the show. All right, guys. Top ROI lineups on Stokastic here. I love to hear that. Tool by itself has built you many parlays. I mean, yeah, that's also the thing too, is like you don't really have to use it on Splash Sports. You can use it for building parlays. You can use it for building on other pick'em sites as well, but it just grades out my data on a fairly soft market on Splash Sports, but it's going to be pretty close to what you get other sites out there. All right, your top 5 lineups here on Stokastic without my data involved, just theirs. We got a Tampa Bay, Texas 3-2, which, as I always say here, first thing to point out, if you are going into a Stokastic sim, I really recommend, especially if you've been struggling with MLB profitability this year, play only 5-mans. Don't play 4-mans. Don't play 3-mans. 5-mans win 2/3 of the time across tournaments. Across your top 100s, the ratios are the exact same too. So you want to be with where the field's got the biggest shot to get you where you need to go. And that's 5-man stacks. But a 3-2, Tampa Bay, Texas here. Gavin Williams, Kyle Freeland, Sal Perez, Jonathan Aranda, Jose Tena, Junior Caminero, Corey Seager, Wyatt Langford, Chandler Simpson, Spencer Jones. I mean, Wyatt Langford coming up a little bit for me with that Texas total being so high, so I get that. Just a 3-2 stack. I just don't think you ever want to play, especially on a 10-game slate. It's a latte day again, too, guys. So you can tell when I'm struggling is I'm drinking lattes left and right on stream. Yamamoto and Gavin Williams and a Mets Washington 5-2 stack here. With Francisco Alvarez, Abimelec Ortiz, Jorge Polanco, Bo Bichette, Francisco Lindor, Wyatt Langford, Dalen Lyle, and Luis Robert Jr. Washington 4-man at number 3. We got Gavin Williams, Grayson Rodriguez, Austin Wells, Abimelec Ortiz, Jose Tena, Jose Ramirez, CJ Abrams, Ronald Acuna, Wyatt Langford, and Dalen Lyle. Where am I with Washington today? Let's see, Washington. And I liked Abrams, obviously. And negative ROIs for me, but that doesn't mean they're unplayable or anything. Mets. Negative ROIs for a 5-man, but not for a 4 or a 3. Washington, though. I like their top hitters. The rest of the team, though, is not that great. Number 4, you have another Washington 4-man stack. You have Gavin Williams with Gage Jump, Sal Perez, Abimelec Ortiz, Jose Tena, Bo Bichette, CJ Abrams, Andy Pages, Trent Grisham, Dalen Lyle. And number 5, we have Landon Root, Grayson Rodriguez in a Dodgers Milwaukee 5-2. Drake Baldwin, Shohei Ohtani, Tommy Edman, Andrew Vaughn, Mookie Betts, Jackson Churio, Andy Pages, Teoscar Hernandez. The Dodgers, to me, really not on the slate in a real way. Ohtani grades out poorly for me. Their stack grades out poorly. They have only 4.4 implied runs. But on a day like today where the Dodgers are entirely off the radar and all the Vegas totals suck, I do think there's logic into the Dodgers, even if they're not popping up in my data, and they are coming up for Stokastics. Jose Tena here, 5.5% ROI, leads the way for Stokastic's top ROI players. Abimelec Ortiz at number 2. Again, he's had a lot of pop in a small sample size, but you expect that to regress to some extent. Wyatt Langford, part of the best total team in Texas. Josh Lowe, number 4 here, positive ROI. And Dalen Lyle, slightly negative, just ahead of Austin Wells from the Yankees. Your top 3-man stacks, Texas 1, Angels 2, Seattle 3, barely ahead of Washington and the Yankees. Seems pretty flat for your 3-man stacks, actually. 4-man stacks, Yankees 1, Texas 2, Washington 3. Again, pretty flat, though. Seattle, KC, really not that far behind. 5-man stacks, Washington, your first positive ROI coming up here for a Washington 5-man stack. Giants, number 2. Giants didn't come up for me, and they came up for Stokastic. Something broken on my site? Let's see. Why are the Giants coming up? All right, so you're in the Giants' home park, not Coors against Colorado, and you're against a lefty. So, no, you don't play the Giants against a lefty. That's a weird time to go to the Giants. And I am Mr. Giants. If the Giants are facing a righty, they look like a different team. It's a lefty. And honestly, I'm going to show you guys it real fast because it's that bad that I want you to see the number here. And it's not to poo-poo Stokastic. They mean people millions of dollars. You should always default to them. That said, you're going to get some bad lefty for sure. but he's been actually pretty decent against lefties, avoiding power pretty well. And this lineup is a fucking joke. You have 2 negative WRC plus guys, small sample size stuff, but Drew Gilbert's had 60 at bats. He's got a negative 55 on run creation. And then you have only Barracoto in a small sample size over 100. Devers is an absolute joke against the lefty, 75 WRC plus, 135 ISO. To be clear, I'm not saying play Kyle Freeland. I just don't know how the Giants are coming up that high for Stokastic is really the key thing for me. Because I love the Giants when they have a lefty-righty matchup. Angels, number 3, though, negative 2.4% ROI. They're my top ROI team, so I'm glad to see them be top 3 for Stokastic. Rather play your boy Kyle Freeland. I don't know if I'd ever call Kyle Freeland my boy, but really, really soft matchup. Though the Giants are getting 4 runs there. So, like, kind of think if Freeland were the play, you'd have, a total somewhere in the 3s. It's not a good total. It's not a good matchup. Gavin Williams coming at 68% of lineups, fields at 33. I do think that 10-2 price tag makes it very easy to get him in. Would not shock me to see Gavin Williams become mega chalk as opposed to the 33% Stokastic is projecting him for. He's got the good box score results lately. He's a little bit cheaper. Pairs well with some of the stacks that you need some more money to get to as opposed to Yamamoto and sales price tag. I think Gavin Williams could be mega chalk. Landon Roop, 18% owned by the field. They're giving you 37. That's a big stand, but I'm okay with that. Like, to me, your SP2 should be capped at 33%. That's where the structure starts to make sense. Your top guy, 55. The rest of the guys capped at 33, and it kind of ramps down as you get lower in the chances for them to win / decent projected. But Roop's solid today at 7,500. This combo, though, for Stokastic, going to be pretty doopy, I would think. Number 3, Wyatt Langford, 12% owned, 37% exposure. Bobby Witt, 12% owned, 30% exposure. A little bit heavy for me on hitters. I think a 25% cap for hitter usually plays best, unless the guy is just like a lights out projection in a great park environment. Abimelec Ortiz coming up at 25%. He's really cheap for a guy who's shown the power he has so far. That's a big old stand for a player with a small sample size, given that Stokastic, historically, more than any site, loves a long-term sample size to trust. You partied with Kyle Freeland, Trevor's wedding back in the day. I didn't know you were that. Are you actually know Trevor's story? They're just like a big fan. I never got that part of the chunk lore. But we got Gavin Williams, 35% leverage on him. Wyatt Langford, 24% leverage on him. Texas being the top team. He's probably their best hitter right now. That does check out, even though it's a little bit surprising. Abimelec Ortiz, 19% leverage on him. Landon Root, 19% leverage. Bobby Witt, 18% leverage on him. Where are they on Abrams? Now they're over the field on Abrams too. So you're playing a whole lot of Bobby Witt and a whole lot of Abrams, but more Bobby Witt. Stokastic's biggest fades, you got Yamamoto at negative 7%, only 22% exposure, fields at 29. It's not really a big fade, but Yamamoto will make third of my lineups, I would say at least, with a chance for him to be the 55% guy, depending on how the slate looks at lock. Shane Bieber only makes one of the top 150. I wouldn't chase him either, but he's had good results and he's 6,700, so maybe he figured it out. The last year and change for him, though, has been nowhere near how he used to look. Tommy Edman, 1.3% exposure. That's negative 6% leverage. Nick Lofton, only one of the top 150 lineups has him. That's negative 6% leverage. And Ben Rice, they're fading pretty meaningfully. Only 2 out of the top 150 lineups have him. That's also negative 6% leverage. All right, guys. I think it is time for a handy here. So kick up your feet. You know the deal. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say the thing. It is no. I feel like now I just want to say it. Like I say, like I'm not going to say it. Put up your feet. It's handy time. Time to come. Let's go over. There's got to be a better way to transition to the hand build, but it's hand build time. We're going to grade out my top 5-man stack. Going to grade out my top ROI lineup, which is built independently of Stokastic, and we'll see how it looks. Excuse me while I cough. One day I won't have phlegm in my lungs, but today is not that day. Let's see how this Angels 5-man looks. Just lean back and make eye contact. There we go. A little brother was Trevor's best man in his wedding. That makes more sense. That's why now I know you like Trevor's story so much, even though the stats have said he has fallen off a cliff. That's okay. That sounds fun. It's cool to hang out with baseball players. Baseball players definitely, I would say out of the debaucherous rankings, wrestlers I would think are the top. Like amateur wrestlers, like they're the most dirtbaggy, like crazy guys I party with. I feel like football guys low-key the least fun because like they're always just like, I don't know. At least the USC was not fun going to football parties. Besides the hot girls. Sale and Yamamoto getting paired with Angels 5-man here. So we're gonna get some top pitchers in this one, if nothing else. And we got for the Angels 5-man, we got Nate, actually not Nate Lowe, Josh Lowe. There we go. Mike Trout. No, the Trouts to worry about, so we're good there. Moises Ballesteros here. Ballesteros. It's a double L. We got Vaughn Grissom making it. So we'll put him in third base for now. And Zach Neto makes it at shortstop. Left Stokastic complete the lineup with 3,300 left for these last three spots. I knew they were going to put in Ortiz. They put in Abimelec Ortiz from the Nationals, Cam Cauley from Texas, and Wyatt Langford for Texas. So we have a 5-2-1 here with the Angels in Texas being built out. The team we're simming is a Chris Sale Yamamoto team with Ballesteros, Ortiz, Cam Cauley, Vaughn Grissom, Zach Neto, Wyatt Langford, Mike Trout, Josh Lowe. Respectable 33% ROI, given that it wasn't built on this very sim. 0.2% win rate, that's good. Top 10 rate of 1.7, cash rate 32. That's all solid. Very playable lineup according to Stokastic data. And of course, mine. My top ROI lineup would be this one. I don't think you'd want a spider tack handy. I think that would be like getting a, what do we call a Native American burn now? I think it would be that if you're getting jerked off with spider tack. Top ROI lineup for me right now would be a Yamamoto Cole one. So let's see how this grades out. Look, I didn't get a real read on what Stokastic thinks of Garrett Cole from the sim results. Which actually I'm going to check now because I'm curious. See, Garrett Cole. They're giving you no exposure to Garrett Cole? That's crazy. I don't get that. But yeah, it seems like Stokastic, just to show you guys here, it's not me fucking it up. Putting Garrett. He's got 2 Gs, right? Yeah. No exposure to Garrett Cole for Stokastic. Maybe they don't have him as a starter? I guess that's possible. No, they have him as a starter getting 15 points. They just have him too low. That's it. All right. Well, fuck me. All right. Well, your top lineup, Garrett Cole and Yamamoto. We'll see what they think of it. Probably not good. With Austin Wells, who I think their sim did like. First base, Luis Garcia. Then we got Jazz Chisholm making it. I really do think it's a nice bounce back day for him, given the lefty-righty matchup today. In fact, he's talking to me about having a shitty year. Like, he's hit righties well all year, too. Like, it's just the other splits are not very good. Lombard makes it as well. And falling down the batting order in the projected lineup today, but he still makes it here. Then we got Trout again. We got Wade Meckler making it. And then we got Cortez. Carlos Cortez from the A's making it. That's a little bit of a weird one. But $400 left on the table for this lineup here. Yankees 5-man with Yamamoto and Garrett Cole. Austin Wells, Luis Garcia, Jazz Chisholm, Ryan McMahon, George Lombard with Trout, Meckler, Cortez. 0.1%. You think it just never fucking wins? All right, 1.1% top 10, 24%. It's not that bad. I guess 0.1 is not that bad compared to like 0.2 or 0.3. But a Yankees 5-man, I feel like Garrett Cole's going to get there. That's how he gets there. Let me have him complete the lineup. Yeah, they wouldn't even play Garrett Cole with a Yankees 5-man stack. They would go all the way down to Landon Roop. Let's see how this grades out. You got to think the whole team could get better, though, at this point. Negative 4.6 ROI. Let me take out the randos in this stack. We'll have it complete with Roop and this. So we have our Yankees 5-man. No Garrett Cole. They go Gavin Williams and Yamamoto. And again, with Wells, Garcia, Chisholm, McMahon, Lombard from the Yankees. Then Wyatt Langford, Dalen Lyle, Josh Lowe. How does this grade out? All right, slightly positive. So they can live with the Yankees 5-man, but it needs to be their guys alongside of it. So 13% ROI, 0.1% win rate, 1.4 top 10. We could take that here. All right, guys, I'm going to give you guys my splash plays of the day one more time. Before I do, though, one last run through plugs. First of all, shout out to our presenting sponsor. Help me get through the summer. Our friends over at Snap Stats. Check them out at trysnap.ai. That's TRYSNAPP.ai. First AI company dedicated to sports betting and fantasy. They really do a good job giving you a lot of different things to use. You can see all the stuff on screen, mostly focused on the betting, fantasy components, your redraft league stuff, AI trainable models, the ability to dig in deep on stats and ask it questions that you'd want to ask somebody else, but you don't want to research yourself. Does that stuff really well. But the biggest thing too is like you'd also do things like checking your golf swing for you guys that play golf, your bowling ball throw. That's not what you say. How do you say that? Your bowling ball strike efforts. I think it would be a bowling ball throw. You could look at all that stuff. You could look at your form for this stuff for lifts. A lot of ways to use this app that like I haven't even touched that I know some people out there are using it for because I've seen the videos from Snap. It's a really cool product, whether I work with them next month or not. I really do think you guys should check it out. And that's really the biggest cosign I can give. Using AI in your process, I think is the most important thing you do as a human being right now, having it as part of your flow, treating it like an employee and a tool in your tool set. So check it out. Snap Stats, try Snap.ai, $10 for your first month. Check it out while you can. And I'm sure the promo code will keep going for a few days, even if I don't work with them right now for the next month. Hit that like button and subscribe. You guys know the deal with that. Stokastic, 15% off, promo code SPLASH. It's any package, weekly, monthly, yearly. Best deal they have going right now. Support the show as opposed to giant companies. SplashlyPodcast.com, my site. Check it out. Lock in your price for NFL season. It's all one thing. MLB, NBA, NFL, all one package for you. Try to make it real easy to get in. And you are locking your price because I am increasing things heading into NFL season next week. Also think I'm going to put out the portfolio builder tool for a new tier. It's going to be just under $100 a month. You'll get lineups from me for the first time as well next week. Lots of cool stuff going on the site. I feel like if you've watched this channel since the beginning, let alone just this year, the improvements I've made on the site are like massive, and I'm excited for what's going to happen the rest of this year. Heading into 2027, I think there's a lot I could do. And Splash Sports, too. Check them out. Promo code Splash Play. Great site to play pick'ems on. If you are going to play pick'ems, play them on Splash Sports. All right, my Splash Plays of the day, guys, for today. And again, these stacks can move around because it is a pretty flat slate. A little bit of a Vegas total moving up one way, moving down another way. Things will move. But the Angels right now, Yankees, Houston, feel like that was pretty uniform across everything. KC, not too bad across both sides. A little bit better on FanDuel. But really today, with no teams above a 5-run total, I think it's going to be like a real pure, anything can hit slate, follow your hearts, get exposures flat, cap your 5-man or your stacks overall at 20%. Just get different looks at things, what I really recommend across the entire portfolio. For pitchers today on DraftKings, Yamamoto, number 1, obviously, for my data, but Sale, Gavin Williams, close enough that one of those guys could be my highest exposed guy, and it wouldn't shock me, especially Gavin Williams at his price tag and the field ownership. Lander Roop, though, would be a very nice pay down option. A tier behind that. Garrett Cole would have a lower win rate for me, but also playable, definitely compared to Stokastic. That doesn't want you to touch him. Michael King, Freeland, Jump, Lambert, all a playable tier, but that's like a little bit better than lottery tickets, but not much better. And then FanDuel, your top stacks for me would be Yankees 1, Angels 2, KC, 3-man stacks, Yankees, Colorado, Baltimore. But it's the same thing there. The totals are flat, so it's going to be pretty flat overall. And then pitcher, Yamamoto, number 1 with a bullet. Chris Sale, not that far off. Gavin Williams, a little bit too chalky for me on FanDuel, but he's fine. And then Garrett Cole, kind of zone tier. Everybody else looks bad on FanDuel. I always talk about FanDuel like flattening out pitcher, especially because that's your way to get unique. Today, if you just played Yamamoto, Sale, Williams, a little bit of Cole, I don't think that'd be a bad approach. Make sure to gamble responsibly, guys, even though, why does it always fucking disappear? I mean, it is always money time here. And normally I'd flash a fake dollar bill with my face on, but it just disappears on StreamYard sometimes for no fucking reason. But I'll be back on Monday with more, guys. Data on the site all weekend. If you want some NFL best ball takes, I did put a video on the @SplashPlay pod channel yesterday. The key thing, guys, data on the site updated today. Data on the site all weekend. Updating for you as well if you want to play MLB. It's been a really good run for me. Really good run for the site. Really good run for the data. Really good run for a lot of you guys as well. So get in now while you can. Lock in your price on the site. Do all that shit. I'll see you guys again soon. Thanks for watching. Enjoy your weekends. Good luck. I'll see you on Monday for more. All right. Bye, guys.